under maintenance. For component, we write about the material degradation, loss, connection. There are different costs to the component here and wear and tear, so it will cause loss connection. And for inventory system, due to lack of spare part or supplier, and also non-defective fields, like the safety features to cut off, if there's any hazard appearing. There's no safety feature to prevent it to happen for other components. For machine, maybe there will be like cost of aging switch, 40 and no test or record before using it, and also inadequate arc flash. Yeah, that's all.
So, okay, they have already have a problem already, but did you ever ask why then?
Maybe after this they want to ask why.
Ask them why now. Because it's too small. Yeah. So, like procedure did not follow the SOP, logo, PDW, etc. So challenge them. Why was it the procedure does not include the permit to work, does not include the lotto procedure and other things they put etc. You ask them the question, so they whether they can answer you, or else Petros will say game over. Can you start asking them?
Why you not asking me?
Yeah. You can ask what they have already thrown out there. So you ask them. So that is where you ask the why. Yeah? That is where you ask the why. Why these are talking about procedure, or why they are talking about components, the environmental, human factors, and maintenance, and machines and equipment. Yeah? They have identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 problems, but they have not found the root cause yet. Why? You have not attacked them yet. You need to attack them. Say, why was it? You're talking about PDW. Why was it the PDW was there? Yeah? Was it not in the procedure when you execute the job? Or do you have the SOP, specific procedure, how you're going to execute the job? Yeah? And do not follow the checklist. See, every job we have a checklist to do a job, but why did not you follow the procedure, the SOP itself, the checklist? Yeah? So you need to ask, because now there's a boss procedure boss maintenance problem and environmental problem so all are problem here. These are all the problems they have already found. Okay? So can you ask them? Come on.
Can you repeat the procedure again?
Okay, so under procedure, first will be did not follow SOP like the lotto, PDW. And then second one, the operator shortcut or bypass the important steps when they carry out the job. Third one will be they did not follow the checklist, or maybe the SOP is too lengthy or complicated, they did not understand. Or the operator overconfident, or they get used to the routine, so they just like do it without proper checking. And they do not perform risk assessment frequently, and no review of the procedure, like no competent person involved in the procedure.
Ada tim members? Berarti sana. Pak. Iya, Anda.
So we go into environment factor. So one of the possible root cause would be the inadequate lighting in the switchgear room. So it's because of the delay in repairing the lights. And why? It's because it is not in the main priority, because the room is not always in use. So they tend to forget that the lights in the switchgear room is not functioning. So when they do this work, then maybe they press the wrong button that causes the switchgear to explode.
Why can press wrong button?
Cannot see.
No level.
The room is pitch
No
black.
level cannot see.
So when it comes to environment, also what we think would be the switchgear room has poor ventilation, whereby the layout of the room is designed with less ventilation, because ventilator is costly and they want to cut costs, so they prioritize other things to spend the budget on lah. So because of that, because they don't see the importance of having a well in ventilated room in the risk assessment. Okay, pass it to my colleague.
We did not ask them why.
Why not?
Ventilated room.
Because they prioritize with other projects now.
You see, I cut first, I cut first. Like room, switchgear room is switchgear room, and then it has to be pressurized and ventilated, correct or not? So do you know that the design of a switchgear or in a hazardous environment, you know, later on when you are already operating, there will be gas. Okay, the gas will be floating around. So you need positive pressure. So positive pressure of more than 14.5 14. How many? More than 14.7 psi. So you need to be positive pressure in the room. Yeah, that's the reason. Because if not, the gas will go into the switchgear room, or in this case, the switchgear room, and then while this guy is doing the switching, we just explode because the switching will have sparks. That's the primary reason why that room should be ventilated and pressurized. Yeah? You need positive pressure. That is why you see there will be a lot of double door, yeah, double entry door, because this will be a pressurized room, and that's the reason like that. And why one of the colleague, where I told early in the morning, fatality because of the pressure. They need to keep pressure inside as well, but because the pressure, the gauge and everything was not properly tuned, so it has a higher pressure, more than supposed to be. Yeah, something was like. So this is very important. Is it something new? Yeah, something new. Okay.
Another factor that could cause the explosion is people. The first one is lack of effective management, which is lack of manpower planning and capacity utilization. And this could also be caused by not enough available electrician to attend the job, which is affected by not enough recruitment caused by budget cut. Second is the lack of competency. So there's insufficient training for the electrician to handle the scope or switchgear operation, probably caused by training not available or from this point. And then the last one is lack of focus or distraction. The reason could be the electrician not fit to work or unhealthy.
So what is the root cause actually?
There's always a problem. What is the root cause? Yeah, correct.
Okay, the person that is not fit to work, get to work there. How come?
Sick. for
See, my
unhealthy.
Okay.
Just personal body issue.
Why didn't he inform his superior?
Didn't have any more sick leave. Habis sudah.
Oh no.
So out of this problem, what is the root cause?
We still have two to discuss.
Itu lagi, ya kan habis sudah.
Another one is another one is culture. So one of the problem from culture point of view is basically your lack of SSC culture. So maybe you don't have we say proper safety procedure, proper safety reminder, so that you don't know there's a proper way, safely way to do a switch gear turning on and off lah. So why you don't have a proper, why there's a gap in your safety procedure? So one of it is basically you are lack of safety related experience. Maybe you don't know this kind of thing can happen, so you don't know, you didn't put inside your procedure. So this is your lack of experience, never experienced before. So then because of that, your also maybe because your management don't have this safety awareness exposed to you as our your working level, they don't expose to you all this kind of accident can happen. So you need to put this in your procedure at all. So it's maybe lack of from your management area, and because of that, maybe management why they don't expose you to this exposure is maybe because he prioritizes your production over your safety. You want job done fast, small project due on the due date done. So they prioritize your production over your safety lah. So this kind of thing relate and can cause the switch gear explosion. So another one is maybe you are rely so much your experience. You are senior, you are realize so much on experience. Oh, I know how to do this, just turn it on. Never happen explosion in my life. So you just say because you don't follow a proper SOP that already been given to you that you can use, but you don't want. You just say I want to use my experience. Yeah. So it's your self attitude lah. Basically your ego. You have a very high ego, and maybe because why you have a high ego is probably because of peer influence. So peer influence means that oh you tengok your rakan-rakan very pro, they don't use like SOP. They just use their memory. Oh, I still want to follow. So your peer influence. And another one because maybe you want to show off the management lah. Oh, I am very experienced at running SOP because your company is very competitive. Like in your, like in your career and all, you're very competitive. They promote a competitive culture. So you need to show off that you can do this by your own. So this is another reason why this can be happen lah. Actually. Question?
Yes.
Okay, he touched a lot of things here just now, like culture. Culture. If I can bring you about culture. Culture here is the biggest problem that we have in working. Culture, because you have different culture, I have different culture, they got different culture. So as I was mentioning is now, well, when I was doing commissioning in Johor, he has a knife here. But you cannot say that he cannot carry knife. Because these people is their pride or their culture, they must carry knife. The knife. I think you see if you are in the West Malaysia, you see a lot of sick. And also when you talk about why was more on the culture? If you can see down there at the entrance, there's a big feather with a gear loop, with a shear loop, with the smoke loop, So what are all these measures? What are all the measures that the rule that put in there for your 2005 campaign? Yeah, that is very important. They are trying to improve your culture. Meaning to say that from pathology. Last time you are pathological people. You know about pathological? Yeah. Have you learned about the safety culture, hearts and mind? So definitely few of you are in that group now. Pathological means to say that when he comes, boss, smoke, okay, boss. Yeah, you see? So you want to please him, but actually, no need to use safety helmet now, susah pakai safety helmet. Then when pengiran come, you semua pakai. Oh, everyone is good. But that's what you call, if nothing can happen, nothing happens to you, or that's what you call pathological. Yeah? So you everything is calculated lah. So when somebody already got a problem, then hey, better wear safety helmet lah, chin strap, glove, apa semua. You remember last year, this guy, because of this So these are all the culture that comes in until one day everyone will be what we call is generative. So I won't go into the detail on this one because we are not in this training. But when we talk about safety culture, this is where we are talking about the ethic of your work, how you execute your job. Yeah, that is all called culture. Later on, in the last slide, the last day, I'll be talking about it. Yeah, so it is very important. But I'm sure you all have been going for the training down there, right? What's the symbol is about? What is the pirate? What do you call it? The 2 bonds and 1 skull there. Yeah. I hope you all know what are all those things. That is a big message there. Yeah? There you already trying to improve your culture already. Yeah? Improve the message is very, very strong there. That's why, like Petros, they already choose specific thing. Like Petros, they will choose specific thing. Shell, they will choose specific thing. Like that. Nippon, they will pick specific thing, and they emphasize on that particular rules, life-saving rules. Yeah. So because if you comply to that life-saving rules, I'm sure all these things don't happen. Yeah? Because say for example, why should you bypass something which is not allowed to be bypassed? Yeah. In this case, you're supposed not to bypass that. The procedure says so. The rule says so. You should be fired from the job, exactly, because that is under violation. That is intentional violation. So we'll talk about it later when we come to that. Yeah. So apa lagi yang sini tadi? Leg offset. Let me see. So prioritize speed and production. So now you are talking about production over safety. Yeah, I'm sure you heard a lot about production over safety nowadays. Yeah, because as a planner, mana satu yang dulu? We have Simon, and then we also have topside maintenance here and there, and then our stakeholder abang jual cakap apa minyak kena naik. Tidak keluar, kita mau buat jembatan sini sana. Anwar Ibrahim there also said, what's happening to Malaysia? Petros pun cakap apa hal semua. So these are all what you call production target over safety already. Yeah? So you will overrun people, and then people will be workload, overload, all those things. People got stressed. No? Everyone is stressed in this type of business. Yeah? Because you do not know. Dulu cakap ini priority safety. Then today only safety, because they will have another working tools. They call it LARP. Remember that? Alarm. As low as reasonable practical. Oh, boleh pakai lah. As low as reasonable practical. Then what I use? I can use risk metric, I use all sorts of safety tools to convince Abang Jo, or to convince Anwar. Yeah, we can do it. Who suffer? The people out there suffer who work for the money, for all these things. Right? This is production of safety. We should, every time when we talk about safety first, production second, but both are priority. But when come to pressure, the boss, Petros boss cakap, Abang Jo cakap dia macam premier Augustine ni, ha. And then people in the KL area also like this. So you are under pressure. Yeah? This is very dangerous. In everyone world, kago sana, more people. So people were trying to pressure you a lot. But I'm sure you have not experienced it yet. Yeah? But because now you are not in the upstream. But maybe even Tong gas itu pun pressure also, correct or not? Miri how many 100,000? Then we cannot deliver how many 100,000. Then because kita punya business turun. Yeah? You said demand a lot, but where? Gas tidak angkat. So all these things are this type of thing. No stop work policy. No peer stop work encouraged. So this is also a very important decision when you talk about safety over production or production over safety. Because somebody have the gut to tell the boss, we cannot do it. Yes, I will give you as low a reasonable practical, boleh jalan. But if somebody say, no, I don't do it, you stay away, you say, we apply stop work policy. Because the situation does not allow you to produce more product. You see? So why no stop work policy? Maybe the system is not there yet. People has not been orientated. People has not gone through all those life-saving rules and stop work policy. All these things are all in management direction to prioritize production over efficiency. Yeah, that's the thing. So these are few things that we want to talk about production over safety. Masih ada kan? Proses.
That's possible. Ini duit Malaysia nanti.
Unclear work instruction, which leads to no life or death test in the procedure. Also some lack of oversight on the so lack of lot of procedures. These are some kind of good cause that might cause this thing to happen. The procedure is not well written. So why are these things not specified? Because the procedure is too generic or not tailored to the scope of work. So it needs to be tailored. Then secondly, maybe the author did not consider those mandatory steps. So what needs to be done maybe is review more on the administrative control, not on the technical part of the job. So this, and also more enforcement of the lotto for energized work. These are some of the reasons why these things will happen. So this one, training and awareness is not sufficient on the procedures. Lack of hazard and technical competencies on how to perform these procedures as well. Past reliance on the supervisor common practices, so not refer to the procedure again. So the last one, management get to issue our own procedures instead of the generic procedures. Weak enforcement to ensure that these things will jalan. Some organizational gap in PTW system design and accountability, and no proper audit and assurance on implementation. These are the costs.
Why get quiet? Why quiet? They win or what?
The way is it?
So let me challenge this one first. unclear work instruction. You see, a lot of us here are talking about instruction, procedures, work methodology and everything. In fact, that is the most common unclear work instruction. That's the reason why Pepper Alpha caught fire and then hundreds of people died. It's because of unclear work instruction. So handing over is not proper. So a lot of things are not being signed off or not properly handed over to the end of shift or work shift group. So there are a lot of missing link between what I say by missing link is that link is like handover, reports, not proper discussion, and during handover, most of us will be handing over in a workshop, on office level. But in this case, if you happen later on in real life, your handover will be from the office. I meet you. Now come, let's go. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Then once you already agree, you will sign it. I will sign it. Okay, small num, come change small. Then you can go home. Or else, no. That is what we talk about clear instruction. Yeah, when we talk about handover, and that is the reason also like a dead test and everything. And a lot of incident happens because consider as semua sedang okay. One day, my supervisor is also the same. When we stayed at our Lutong family, our compound, we were trying to isolate the ring main unit from Lutong, the power plant, to the sea line. There is one called sea line. The area we have a lot of ring main unit feeder here and there. So we were supposed to isolate three entry of power that come in. We must isolate the three sources. But however, one of the sources is still switched on. So what my supervisor was, because the next procedure is you need to ground it. Ground it using a what do you call that? What do you call that? Yeah, correct. Correct. It is a copper bar which is tied to the earth, and then you go and discharge it. Yeah. So what before it touches the life part, the spark already go through already, because certain kilowatts, the thing will just can fly. So the moment he do that, he was thrown 2 meters away. Explosion. Luckily he survived, but now he's already old man already. He passed away a few years back. He's my supervisor during our see, because why? That test, yes, they are doing that test, but one area is still not that test, because you know that once you isolate one end of the ring main unit, you thought that everything is isolated, but actually it's on the wrong side of it. It will still remain open, remain on. The switch is still closed, so it was closed. Yeah. And another one, my foreman, we are trying to trace the cable from Lutong. Now it is what do you call that? Information center, Miri information center. See? Actually, this all are shared environment, and we call it loading bay area. So there is a cable, there was a cable, but however it crossed, see? Along the way it crossed this way. Supposedly on the right side is the dead one, but as soon as you enter the other junction, it turned to be is on the left side. So we use the spark. Normally we use spike to puncture the cable to prove it is correct. But however, it was on the wrong side. See, this is all the story about dead test. Even though we use, there is the one using the, we are using that acoustic, but however, just because it go this way, the signal is still, because it's side by side, it's side by side. So you're still detecting the energy using the one. So we miss it. See? That is the why. The why coming in. Lack of oversight, this time we're talking about lack of lotto procedure, we will talk about it. When you talk about lotto procedure, so in the first place you ask, have you ever seen the lotto procedure? That's the first question you ask. Before you ask him whether lotto is actually in place or not. Yeah. So these are the things a lot of people don't understand about lotto. Lock out, take out. Yeah? It's very, very dangerous. And then how do you control the system? The first key should be with the owner. Second key will be for the manager, or the third key will be for the leader or whoever. I use the term like that because in different organizations they term it differently. Yeah? Either it's area authority or authorizer or whoever been identified to look after them. And the padlock, everything will be into one box. Put it into one box. That specific equipment is only for that box. And then the guy who takes this key is not you. It's another guy. To responsible. So if any three of you want to open this box, you need to go and look for him. So he must have the key, you have the key, and then you still cannot open because you're not around. You see? Like that. So that is the procedure has to be go with the permit to work. So it's a very complicated system, but it is almost a foolproof protection system. And I do not know how you all organize it in your workplace, whether you do that or not. Ada bos? Ada buat. So with the permit, after that, once it is signed off or whatever, the permit and everything and the whatever will be inside this box. Like so who will finish first? Take out, sampai semua. Yeah? It is a very, very strict control. Itu pun masih ada juga. Sebab this guy there is no, the word there sabotage boss. See, they're still talking about sabotage again. Even though your system is so good, still somebody want to sabotage you. Macam mana lagi orangnya?
Ini orang masalah.
See? Ini like a weak management enforcement. Ini orang mesti mau go for another training lah, these people. Yeah, because makan gaji buta lah, these people. Yeah, at least only eat and sleep only in this boss.
Boss pun mau training juga.
Yeah, weak management enforcement. So what you do with this? You need to retrain him. You need to do some situational awareness training and all those things, so that he and give him the commitment, boss. Biar dia, you kasih dia kerja tu, supaya dia faham tu. Yeah? Because some people are also scared. Later when we talk about all this culture and everything, kalau saya ada satu tiger sini, ini dekat saya kan? Hah? Ya, betul. Ayo semua satu sini sampai sini. You berani kan? Sure you don't. You even don't dare to approach him to tell him the correct thing. Yeah. Yeah. So these are all under this problem. No proper audit assurance care. But normally when we talk about no proper audit assurance on the lotto, normally every evening or every shift people will have an inventory of the lotto. What number, what PTW, what blah blah blah, who signed it. So this must be organized in one spreadsheet. You can see whether it is become green or red or orange. Yeah. So whether it's a homework, routine work, I think it should be the same. So and then how you audit it? Audit it whether everyone is compliant or non-compliant. Yeah. So somebody will go outside and check whether the tag is the correct tag, whether dia pakai wire, dia ikat ke, whether the instruction is proper, kunci, so all these things is under the audit. So you need to organize it, yeah? Lack of hazard and technical competence. Okay. When you talk about this lack of hazard and technical competencies, sometimes when we say he is lack of hazard and technical competency, but sometimes this is the big problem here. Today, I'm a healthy man, I comply everything. And tomorrow, suddenly, you see me sitting so this is a big question mark here now. Big question mark. Yesterday you are so alert and everything, but today you don't know what you are doing. Huh? Maybe just because just now I asked Ian, mana dia girlfriend? Dia sudah jilted by girlfriend, so dia sudah pening lah. Even cannot concentrate on the job. Yes? So when you cannot concentrate on the job, a lot of things will be, that is what people call unintentional violation. He lapsed. Yeah? He becomes lapsed. Dia tak lupa apa semua. People say open, he go and close. So this type of thing, because dia punya mind sudah confused. It's not because that he is not aware, he might be an expert. But today, dia terus mungkin bulan ada besar sikit dan kewel lah. So these are the things that when we talk about all these problems. Review. So the rest all the same. So macam itu aja, ya. Siapa lagi ya yang tidak ada? And we go for break. Okay. Saya ada time keepers lah.
Okay.
Dia hari tengok saya. We also pass.
Yeah, in the website. So we come here, I asked her 15 minutes.
15.
Actually, the website.
Is the target? I think the zero is back.
Yeah, because I'm not sure about it.
Take 15 minutes.
If I wait, then we get the money from them.
Like the one general line. Itu kucing.
Miri, 085 is Miri. No, this one, customer 085421423.
Why? Hiring local due to the remote area is easier lah, and reasonable lah, because they assume to be familiar with the site. You know, so it's easier for the local to work lah, because the site is near to the remote village lah. So hiring local is feasible lah.